you guys for joining me.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here, brother.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Here, we're gonna do a wrestling talk, and so wrestling has always had stables, always had good and bad stables. So I decided to come up with the shittiest stables that we could all come up with. We pick 5 members and 1 leader, and the only exception here is nobody who was ever in the Dungeon of Doom. just to, just to make it a little bit harder because you could pick so many shitty characters from Brutus Beefcake alone. You could have like 4 gimmicks of his. But yeah, this is gonna be fun because I always love talking old school wrestling. And uh, I, I know ETEP. I know you like to talk old school wrestling. Tommy and
Absolutely.
Tony, and you all guys feel the same way that it's not what it was. It's
Yeah.
You
the
know,
old school is the way to go.
I was just listening to a Vince Russo video earlier, and he was talking about, the problem with the business today, whether it's AEW, WWE, is that it's just flat. Like, it's just a
Yeah.
flat line. There's no peaks and valleys anymore. It's just safe storytelling all across the board to cater to basically the audience they have. They're not trying to really be a part of the mainstream pop culture zeitgeist or grow their audience or anything. They've become complacent.
Well,
And
I'll say this about when Stephanie was really there making moves. She was trying to cater more to casuals with all the shit that she was putting out there. She had the pink fucking ropes for breast cancer awareness month and all that. So she actually was trying to she didn't go about it too well, but she actually was trying to get more of the word out there.
yeah,
Because there was a time where they were really, really, really seeking the casuals, and they were really catering to them more so than the people who were fucking watching every week. At least that's
definitely.
how I felt.
But it's like about finding that happy medium, I guess. You don't want to go too far in either direction, but like what's going on now, it's just, like Vince Russo mentioned, it's like corporate storytelling where they are basically at the almost like where Hollywood is, where they don't want to take risks anymore.
Uh huh. Yeah, and it's kind of like you don't want to go too hardcore with the marks because you'll end up like AEW. Or then you could just have a fucking train wreck like when TNA had Eric Bischoff there.
That
So,
was a success. What are you talking about? That was the
yeah.
Monday Night War 2.0.
You know,
Oh yeah, well, funny. Where are they now? Are
still
they
though,
on a channel?
like whether it's today where they are catering to the marks or whether it's 2010 when it's John Cena fever and they're trying to get casuals, and the storytelling's just flat. Like it used to have that feeling that like anything could happen, and if you didn't tune in to WWF Superstars or Monday Night Raw, you're gonna miss something.
Yeah, yeah. It was so much better when you had WCW going head to head with
Yes.
with the Fed because when one guy left, you were like, oh, maybe he's gonna pop up here. That's why I was watching. I didn't want to miss a minute of Raw, like around the time when WCW first folded, because ECW. That's when they started bringing in ECW guys like Rhino and Tajiri, and even Jerry Lynn, like guys like that popping up. I was like, oh man, holy shit! Imagine if Sting pops up. And
Yep.
we didn't when we got Sting popping up like decades later. It was a huge disappointment. But
2015.
yeah, that's a whole other story right there.
Yeah, that was and I think Tony, you and I were just having this discussion the other day, weren't we? Talking about the invasion a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
so bad.
And yeah, it was. Well, you figure in all the big guys had contracts with Time Warner.
And
That
yeah, they rightfully so sat it out. I completely understand it. Why hurt yourself when you get to sit home and make free money, just get money.
it's cost benefit analysis at that point. I mean, the benefit of foregoing the remainder of an existing contract is ring rust. Okay. Your star diminishing. Wrestling fans even then have short IQs. If you fall out of the limelight and they don't book you properly, your momentum is fucking dead. You are dead in the water.
Yeah, even if the crowd gets behind you and still wants you to be
Yep.
in the forefront, they don't care. They'll still
No.
cut your legs out from under you and keep you there.
Yeah. So them sitting that out, to me, that is almost is like I said, that looking at it from like knowing that being part of angles, and I was lucky enough from the time I was trained and fully in the ring the last 2 years of my career, I was in main event type angles the entire fucking time because I was one of our top heels, if not, and I'd say this not to pound my chest, but there was nobody in that company that could touch me on the microphone. And I say that unequivocally. There was nobody
Oh,
that could
I could
sit there.
believe it.
If and I had to watch with the baby faces because I would sit there and they'd be like, "This is what we're gonna say," and I'm like, "Okay, what are you gonna say back?" Don't worry. I just say, "Don't worry about it. I'll just go with how the crowd reacts and with what you say to me. You say whatever you want." And I just kind of be like, "Let's, we'll do it." And the one time I fucking buried this guy. I mean, it was like remember the Rock and Billy Gunn?
Yep.
It was like that with 100 people watching, like just going like, holy fucking we get back through the curtain and he's like, "Boy, you didn't give me anything." I'm like, and I was like, "Why don't you fucking take it?" I'm like, "Why don't you fucking take it?" Like,
But
Jesus Christ.
you let him know you were gonna cut him to ribbons beforehand, though, right?
I did. Yeah. I said, "You know how I work." I said, "You say whatever you want. I'm gonna bounce back and I'm gonna punch you in the face with it." Okay. All right. We come back. Fuck, man. I'm like, I told you what I was going to do. I didn't tell you what I was going to say. I told you what I was going to fucking do. It's your job as a baby face to one up me. If you can't fucking do that, you don't belong out here.
Was he a newbie? Was he a noob to the scene?
No,
No.
no. This guy had a half a fucking decade, man, of full in ring. And it's like, I'm fucking sorry. At that point, I've been doing this for 8 years just on the microphone, ring announcing, managing. It's like, that's
All right.
where I
Yeah.
was
If you're
the
a
best.
manager, you definitely need to have fucking verbal skills.
Yep.
I mean, not
So,
everyone could get away with it. Mr. Fuji didn't have verbal skills,
no.
but for some reason he got away with it. I don't know. He's the one guy I give a pass.
Foreign heel.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't even need to speak English.
Plus, he was a wrestler before that.
Yep.
So.
So he knew how to get psychology over with just body language and motions and selling.
And cheating.
He didn't need it. Absolutely. Dude, the way he worked his demolitions, that was, and then the double cross when he switched over to the powers of pain.
Yeah. Yep.
Which the Barbarian and Ming vastly superior to the Warlord and the Barbarian.
Yeah, the Warlord wasn't as good in the ring as the Barbarian was. Barbarian, I thought was a very underrated big man in the history of pro wrestling. Barbarian could go, but Warlord was too jacked for his own good. It seemed
typical McMahon 80s guy.
Yeah,
that's kind of my gauge for a world champion, though, because Ming was like severely underrated. Like he was a beast.
Yep.
And I used to like ask myself, can I see this person like standing up to Ming? And there are a lot of world champions as of late that I can't see.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's the friggin' AEW champion now?
Swerve Strickland. And I like Swerve a lot. Like, I really do. I think that guy has a tremendous upside. He's small. He's 222 pounds. He's not a big guy.
It doesn't seem to be like, all right, so I think it's in Brooklyn. Johnny Rods. Anyone old school wrestling knows unpredictable Johnny Rods. He was the black guy. He was basically the black version of Iron Mike Sharp. He was a jobber, complete jobber. This guy, I don't know if he still runs his wrestling school, but everyone that this guy came out of this guy's school was a fucking monster. Everyone that came out of his school was a monster. What's up, Sherry? How you doing? Talking wrestling here.
Hey,
But,
Sherry.
like we need more. I think that's one reason I like Braun Breaker so much is because he
Oh, Braun
probably
Breaker's a beast. Yeah, that dude's a beast, bro.
yeah. But it's like we need more of that. Like
He actually, like, when I look at that guy, I get like flashbacks of old school just looking at that guy.
yeah. And I was gonna bring up, look at Mark Henry, who like signed this 20-year contract with WWF and was dwindling away for like 10, 15 years. He was used as the butt of a joke,
Yep.
whatever. And then 2011, he was my favorite wrestler.
He's
Like
one of those guys that I didn't like when he was around, but now that he's gone, I appreciate him.
when he went crazy like in 2010, 2011 and just got intense and
Was that
just started
that was around
smashing
the era
fools.
they finally put a belt on him, right?
Yeah.
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 And they were calling him the Silverback. Bad idea, guys.
Yeah, Vince, of all the bad ideas, yeah, Mark Henry's like, you ain't calling me that. Vince is like, okay, pal, we'll change it, pal. Like,
He was
yeah,
just
like,
brutal though. He had a certain intensity to him. Like it was,
yep.
especially in that stale period, it was really fun to watch.
Yeah,
I really think that's what we need now.
I do appreciate him looking at him in hindsight. I didn't really
Mhm.
appreciate him when he was around. There's quite a few guys that are like that.
Yep.
Like I guess I could even say I was kind of like that with Haku, because I always like, oh, I liked him and all. Like even going back to the days when I used to see him on fucking Saturday mornings as King Tonga, like he was all right. I never really like saw him as a main guy, but like then when he's gone, I'm like, we could use more Hakus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he I wouldn't even use him as a main eventer, but he's like the barrier to entry for the main event. Like if you can stand up to someone like that, someone raw and fucking just mean like that, then
like a jobber to the stars, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at the people that he put over in WCW. You know what I mean? Like he had to put Goldberg over.
Yeah, numerous times. I think way more than once.
Yeah,
I think.
You know that whoever the agent was backstage had to go to him and was like, "Hey, we need you to put Bill over." And I mean, he's one of those guys where if he don't want to put you over, he just ain't going to do it. But in that spot with Goldberg on that streak, they probably, I mean,
well,
I'm
Goldberg
pretty sure
fucked him up on a power slam, right?
Yeah,
he just did a
dropped
regular
him on
power
his-
slam and slammed him on his fucking head.
on
Yeah,
his fucking head. And I think Ming got right the fuck back up afterwards too, like no sold it or some shit. I'd have to watch it again because I think I just recently saw that. But
yeah, they've been putting clips a lot. I've been seeing a lot of old school clips, and they had that one. And then immediately after that clip, like it was the same clip, but they like cut to Jimmy Hart getting beat up at the end, and Goldberg almost killed him.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, because I think it was on Twitter. It was like one of the old school WCW pages on Twitter had it. And yeah, that was like, can you imagine going back after the match, Goldberg going back there? Ming,
Ming probably wanted to fuck you. Yeah, I'm sure like
Ming,
a lot of people had to hold him back.
He probably had a few words. I'll guarantee it. I mean, that guy was like the Undertaker's enforcer.
Yeah.
When he was in was it the Bone Street crew?
Yeah, the Bone Street Posse or whatever.
Yeah.
Was he in WCW by that time?
I thought he was over there with them because he was. Fuck, I'd have to look it up because when did he showed up in WCW in like 90?
And then he came back to WWF for a little while though.
When he was teaming with Rikishi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that crazy ass afro. Yep.
I really wouldn't mind of all the matches we talk about. I wouldn't mind just seeing an actual brawl, just a fist fight between Ming and Hardcore Holly, Bob Holly. Just let him
Oh,
fucking beat
I
him.
would love to see Ming beat the shit out of Hardcore Holly. I do not like Hardcore Holly.
No,
Hey,
he
Yeah,
thought
you know what?
he's
Since you guys are
tough.
talking about Ming, I wanted to bring this up. What a wasted opportunity. I don't know why WWE never put him and Ron Simmons together. Could you imagine that fucking pairing as a freaking tag team?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then again, they didn't know what to do with Ron Simmons anyway.
no. After the
Yeah, but-
Nation, I mean, look when he came in. Remember the Gladiator of
He had that,
Tomorrow?
yeah,
and
with that blue
Sonny?
helmet.
But the
Yeah, and
APA was dope though.
the
They
APA
were
was,
dope. They were.
they were
I
fantastic.
no, dude. I even like the Nation of Domination. I like
Yeah.
the Nation.
I thought the Nation was cool. I did. I was like, especially like with the benefit of hindsight, knowing that it was started in USWA by Bill Dundee.
PG-13.
PG-13. Yep. JC Ice and Wolfie D. Fucking Jamie Dundee. God damn it.
So,
All I remember of PG-13, whatever federation I would see them in, was them getting their asses handed to them. Like, I think they had a match against the Road Warriors on Raw, and they
Yeah.
fucking destroyed them.
Yep. Road Warriors. That was like 90. It was right before they brought him in to do the Nation gimmick because I think they were just doing jobs.
But they like Hawk clotheslines. I think it was what were they? Who was it? JD Ice and
JC Ice and Wolfie
JC Ice
D.
and Wolfie D. And which was the one that was Bill Dundee's kid? That was JC Ice. Right?
JC Ice.
It
Yeah,
was
Jamie
him.
Dundee.
It was
Yep.
him. Hawk took his fucking head off and turned him
Mhm.
inside out. That was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah. Hawk was like, well, the Road Warriors are probably coked out of their gourds too.
Well, Hawk was.
Hawk was,
And
yeah.
Animal, I guess, other than steroids, but Animal was the straight and narrow guy of the two of them. Hawk
Yeah.
was the fucking party guy.
Yeah, the Nation started by
yeah,
two white guys.
The eras like that, yeah, we're way past those eras. Way past, and we're never gonna see it again. We're never gonna see it again.
I'm sorry. To this day, I still, every time I hear that music play, all I can hear is Nation of Constipation.
that scene with Farouk and Rock where it's right before The Rock and everyone basically give Farouk the boot. But
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like giving watches to D'Lo and Mark Henry and Kama, and then he gives Farouk a portrait of himself, a portrait of The Rock, and Farouk's fucking expression like gets me every time.
See, I remember this, and I have no clue and never got any fucking inkling as to why they did this. But okay, so the Nation is feuding with Ahmed Johnson. They're
Yep.
fighting every week. Then all of a sudden, Ahmed Johnson ends up joining the Nation.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
like 2 weeks later, they jump him out of the group.
That was what they were
2
doing
weeks
with the
later.
Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were doing that with the Bloodline. Like they'd kick Jey Uso out and then pretend to sway Jimmy, and then Jimmy and Roman fight, and Jey Uso betrays Jimmy and joins the Bloodline. It's like, and for no same thing for no reason. It like didn't make any sense whatsoever.
How you doing, Tina? Good to see you there. But the Nation was a good stable. Who would you guys say is the best stable ever in wrestling? Would you all just go chalk and say
Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
NWO?
Or are we talking about skills or just pure entertainment
I
value?
think just a stable that as when they came out, you're not leaving the room even if you got to take a piss.
For
You're
me,
holding it in there.
entertainment value was the fucking Blue World Order. I'm sorry, those guys were absolutely hilarious.
Oh God, really?
The BWO. See, I can respect that, especially now watching Stevie Richards' YouTube channel and listening to him
I like
talk.
Stevie, man. I like him.
Stevie's fucking awesome. He is
He's
somebody
another
I
one of
would-
those hindsight guys.
Yeah, that's my point. The benefit of hindsight? He is so much better than anybody ever gave him credit for. Like the dude his psychology is fucking amazing.
He was in that fucking ECW arena. That motherfucker was a heat magnet. People couldn't fucking stand him.
Remember him making out with Missy Hyatt?
Yeah.
It's like, I bet that tastes like
Yeah.
cigarettes.
How does half the locker room taste, Stevie?
Yeah, like because that's when he was with Raven.
Yeah.
He was Raven's little lackey.
What were they again in the East? It was
Raven's
Raven. It was the
Nest.
flock. It was the flock in WCW,
Yep.
and it was the nest in
The
East.
Nest. In
All right, that was a
ECW,
good.
yep.
That was a good stable too, man. Raven.
Yeah.
Well,
I liked the flock in WCW. I just didn't like how it turned out and how it was executed.
they could have been so much better if they fucking.
Yes.
I remember when Raven jumped the guardrail.
Yep.
And had a face-off with Scott Hall. And this was around the time where they had first signed Raven. And I'm like, holy shit, are they going to come in and immediately have Raven beef with the NWO? And then they did nothing with that.
Yeah.
They did nothing with it after that. Raven's another one of those guys that like they seem like people like cutting the legs out from under him. And that dude was another one, man. Heat magnet.
What another one? Psychology. And a way better in-ring performer than people give him credit for.
I agree.
That's why I laugh when everybody's like, he didn't belong on the cover of Revenge, and he said it was a joke that he was even there. It's like,
I think he absolutely did.
Yep. I'm like, no, don't sell yourself short, dude. For a time in WCW, he's one of your top heels. Absolutely. I don't give a fuck. And that was during the NWO run. He was still a fucking fantastic heel. His mid-card feuds, the TV title, were fucking great with Paige.
His feud with Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, Jericho. Raven. I liked, and especially when him and Saturn. And I'll never forget this. I've talked about this before. Him and Saturn turned babyface and won the tag titles from Malenko and Benoit.
Yeah, that was around the time Saturn was wearing the leather skirt, right?
Yep. And I remember watching that on Nitro and jumping up and down on my fucking couch. Like, I was so fucking happy because I liked Raven and Saturn. I always thought Saturn was awesome, especially
Saturn's
like we were talking about
very underrated guy.
The Eliminator days, and it's like this guy never. He has. If you pick him in any video game, you have one of the best.
One of the best movesets. Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. Stable mine. Obviously, it's gonna. NWO in the later stages because I fucking love the NWO. I am like I said. I did a whole. We did a whole fucking tribute NWO stable when I was wrestling. I mean, the team ratings thing. I was like, they had no merchandise. They didn't have a logo. I said, what if we become the NWO? Basically. And that's what we did. I had creative control to that respect where if I wanted to do something with the stable, I just had to run it by the promoter and he'd be like, okay, will it make us money? Will it make us money? Yeah, it's going to make us money.
Well, the NWO wasn't original anyway.
No.
It was an idea that Bischoff got from Japan, yeah. From
Japan, absolutely. But I loved in the 80s the Horsemen. I did. I love the Four Horsemen.
Who's your favorite version of the Horsemen? What's your favorite? This is always a discussion among people who always talk about the Four Horsemen. What's the best version?
Flair, Arn, Tully, and Ole.
The original.
The original. Yep. See, that's mine right there.
I'm gonna go with when they kicked Ole out and brought in Barry Windham.
Wyndham was good too. Barry Windham's underrated.
Flair, Arn, Tully, Barry Windham. Barry Windham's a very underrated guy, also in the history of pro wrestling.
Yep.
He was a fucking big motherfucker too.
The original Hulk Hogan theme was him and Mike Rotunda, the Rick Derringer Real American. That was their theme.
Express, yep.
And they lost the tag titles.
I saw a match probably a few years ago watching I think it was when one of my friends still had a Peacock or whichever one it was at the time, Peacock or the network. I can't remember which one we were watching at the time. But we watched a match where they came out. They actually aired a match with them coming out to Real America.
Goddamn. That's funny that they'd actually air that on.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? They would re-edit it now because that's so synonymous with Hogan. But yeah, it's funny how that got repurposed. But yeah, they lost the belts at Mania 1 to Sheik and Volkov.
Yeah. They hit Barry Windham with the Freddie No, not Freddie Blassie. It was
Uh,
it was Freddie Blassie's cane.
Yeah. Yes, he had it. I'll wrap you with my cane, you pencil neck geek.
See, I was also confused because when they lost the belt, who did they lose the belts to? It was the Dream Team. They lost to Beefcake and Valentine.
Beefcake and Valentine.
And with that one, fucking Johnny V put a cigar out in Barry Windham's eye.
I got a news break here for you, gentlemen. Got a news break. I just got an update from Vinny. Vinny says he's sending in his favorite stable of all time is the Undisputed Era.
Vinny likes the Acclaim.
I think I only liked Roderick Strong. Oh no, I like that other guy, Bobby Fish. I like that guy too.
Roderick Strong, the best thing he's done is scream, Adam! That's my most memorable Roderick Strong thing was when they were doing that whole MJF Adam Cole thing. He was screaming at Adam Cole. That was fucking hilarious. That was the best part of that because that fucking whole thing was just bungled. But
you know what? There was actually one really good match. So it was almost like they almost had to set up almost like a War Games arena in NXT. And they had the Viking Raiders, whoever they were partnered with. They had the Undisputed Era, and they had one other team, and I forget what the other team was. But they all worked fabulously.
Was it the Authors of Pain?
Yes, I think it was the Authors of Pain. And
what?
Who did they have with them? Because it was three. It was three on each team.
Did they have, was Karrion Kross with them in NXT? Was he the guy that's in the stable now with them? Was it him then?
No, I don't think so. They used to have Ellering come out to the ring. With
them. Paul Ellering, yeah, he's still because now it's
they brought him
Authors
back.
of Pain.
They actually brought him back. Yeah.
Yep, Karrion Kross, Ellering, and that Elektra chick, I think her name is. And it's like the Final Testament. They've been trying to get Xavier Woods to join them, which I'm like, that doesn't really make sense.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I think Sanity was in that match. Maybe it was 4 teams. Because Sanity was in it too. I distinctly remember
the first War Games that NXT did, right? Wasn't this the first one that
it was quite a few years ago. I mean, that was still when it was called the Network. I forget how long ago that was.
Who is Sanity? What team is? Who the hell is
Eric
that?
Eric Young
and a couple other people. The chick was Nikki Cross, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, see, everyone already forgets that Eric Young was in the Fed for a bit.
I'd forgotten they brought him in.
Yeah.
What was that, like 2015 or 16? Something like that?
About that.
Yeah.
I kind of never liked Eric Young. I don't know. It was just something about him.
I didn't like him at first, but later on, he started really becoming more entertaining. And that's when I was like, okay, this guy's pretty good.
He annoyed the shit out of me in TNA, man. He really did.
So, are you talking like that spicy guy annoying?
Curry Man?
Yeah.
Curry Man.
You know that's Christopher Daniels, right?
Is it?
Yeah.
But Christopher Daniels rolled in that freaking Jesus, what was that character? The one that was created in the video game.
Suicide.
So yeah, he did it. I heard AJ Styles did.
Kazarian.
He was like the main guy, right?
Yep.
At first.
Yeah, Frankie.
And I think he did the best version of it.
Yeah.
See, Frankie Kazarian, he's one of those fucking guys who's been underused his entire fucking career.
He was bad as fuck. Like the shit that guy did. I remember watching Impact, back in the day. And it's like, TNA, whatever, when they started, it was TNA Impact. And like, was it like 07, 08 with him? And it's like, holy shit. Like, I'd never seen him work before. Because I remember he did jobs in the Fed at one point. I think they had him as enhancement talent.
He was in Ohio Valley as a tag team with Nova, and they were called Evolution.
Really?
Yeah.
Nova.
You know Nova from ECW?
Yeah, Simon Dean.
Yeah. Oh God, I forgot about Simon Dean.
Yep.
Holy shit! I fucking blocked that out of my memory.
That was god awful.
He was
so much better as Nova.
They should have just kept him as Nova and like teamed him with Hurricane and have them like two superhero guys.
Him and was it him and what's his name? Super Crazy had some good matches.
Super Crazy, I fucking love that guy.
I actually thought about using Roadhouse Blues as my fucking theme if I come back.
That was
I was
Super
like,
Crazy's theme.
yeah, in ECW.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-
But no, I was listening to that the other day. I was like, this wouldn't be a bad theme. I was like, fuck, did somebody use that? I'm like, yep, super crazy. Use this. I was like, God damn it. I was I was. You showed that Rhino figure. I worked a dozen shows with Rhino, in
Yeah, is he
Saginaw.
cool?
He's cool as fuck. Like
That,
Rhino
you know
is
Darius, right? Darius 1000.
Munchausen.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. He was telling me that Rhino was at the same gym as him, and Rhino was all like, like dead cool.
yeah, yeah. He's in the locker room. Like he won't talk about himself. He'll sit there and they'll be like, "What are your goals? What do you
I
want to
believe
do?"
it too.
Yep, that's when you get a name in a locker room and they're like that. Like Matt Stryker, when he worked for us at Apex, I was ring announcing and I was the commissioner, and he was like sitting there in like gorilla watching when I was out. As I caught him, I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, because I thought I caught him looking a couple times. I'm like, "Oh my god, he's gonna fucking bury me when I come back there." Like, I'm thinking I'm fucking up, and I come back there. He goes, "How often do you work?" I'm like, "Once or twice a month." He goes, "Do you wrestle?" I'm like, "No, I just do this ring announce commissioner." And he's like, "Why are you not working like twice a weekend and trying to get on TV?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like I was never my goal."
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just dumbfounded because I'm thinking this guy's gonna fucking bury me. And I was wearing an Africa t-shirt like Toto. And he was like, "Are you actually a Toto fan or a hipster?" I'm like, "No, I was like, I was born 1980, man." I'm like, that's like I love Toto. So we sat there, we talked about music, and he was just cool as fuck. Like we talked for probably like it was a 3.5 hour show. We probably sat back there for like an hour bullshitting. I mean,
That's cool
like,
when you can
yeah,
meet veterans and they're cool
yep.
people.
Abyss was the same way. Abyss was awesome. I smoked weed with him. He was cool as fuck.
Is
Like,
Abyss still a fucking producer in the Fed?
I
Is
don't
he still
know.
there?
I don't know.
I know he was.
I see some
I
of the
think
guys I
Petey
used to work.
Williams is too. I think Petey Williams is.
I, I've seen 2 or 3 guys that I used to book that are security on Raw, and SmackDown a couple times here and there. One of those guys, Jake Oman, he was in a tag team with this guy, Scotty Young, called Main Street Youth. He got a little bit jacked up, and I think he might have worked for Impact when my buddy Use was down there. And then he's doing like security for the Fed now, like so he can take bumps and shit and get beat up. And my other
That's
buddy,
cool.
Jeff the ref, Jeff Bundy, he was on Raw trying to restrain Cody Rhodes. He got laid out a couple times. He refs and works for the Clowns. He's
He
huge with the
does.
Juggalos. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. He was their ref for JCW for a while when they do their traveling shows and shit. And like I worked with Rude Boy from ICP's crew, Rudy Hill. He's a fucking douchebag. Rudy is a douchebag. Like I didn't like him. He was a prick and he's a racist. He hates white people, even though he's
Do
half
they
white.
have a lot of? Do they still run fucking shows?
I don't. I think they run shows, but I don't think they wrestle because Joey Usler, that's Violent J, he had heart issues, and Joey Shaggy is my wife's cousin. He hasn't really.
Really?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah.
oh shit! You have a family connection to fucking
I've
ICP.
it's shoestring. I've never met Shaggy. His younger brother Michael raps. I hung out with him at a bar down in Ferndale, and he's super fucking cool, talented kids. This kid is like he's about 6'1", he's built like Ichabod Crane. He's about 150 pounds, and at the time he had this huge green mohawk. He looks like this punk out of the 80s, and he walks up to you and he's the most polite, soft spoken, just super down to earth cat. You know what I mean? He was really cool. But yeah, like my wife was saying, they used to have parties at Joey's house, and yeah, before he was wearing face paint and shit, they was still spraying motherfuckers with Fago. Like that didn't start with the fucking Clowns. He was doing that beforehand. Like crazy fucker. But yeah.
Oh, that's
She
funny
said
that you have a connection, an actual family connection
to the fucking to the
ICP.
Juggalos. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
remember they were part of a shitty stable.
the Deadpool or the Dark
No,
Car. It was Dark Carnival.
no, the
Dark Carnival.
WWF one, the
Oh, the
fucking
oddities. The
oddities.
oddity. Oh my god. Everybody. That song. That song still slaps. So I don't give a fuck. I love the oddities. That was on the WWF the Music Volume 4, which I think I still have in my CD case out in the garage. But yeah.
That was such
I
a terrible stable. I can't
oh
believe they
god.
did that to Earthquake. I never realized that was Earthquake until years later that then the internet told me.
Golga.
Yep, I never fucking
Yep.
saw it. I know he was
Yeah,
doing the
Golga.
same moves. He was still doing the sit on people move.
Yep, he'd jump around him and shit, do his deal. Yeah, fuck yeah, God.
So
What?
Tony, you got a stable that you always had considered a favorite, like
I
a,
mean,
like one that would have your eyes glued to the TV.
objectively, I agree with ETEP, the NWO, because like at the time it was just such a breath of fresh air for wrestling. And I mean, the heights they hit as far as popularity, I got used to seeing the split WCW NWO logo like all
Yeah, yeah.
over everything. And they had race cars and monster trucks. And I mean, basketball players were wearing NWO shirts, and just it was everywhere. So um but I'll I want to shout out like the Heart Foundation too, because that was something else that was like really interesting for the time.
You mean
Watching
the
them,
anti-American version of the Heart Foundation, right? You
yeah,
mean the Bulldog and Pillman? Yes,
yep,
that was what got me back into watching WWF was Bret Hart's asshole turn and the
yeah,
rise of Steve Austin. That those are the things that got me watching.
and it was just like they'd go across the border to Canada, and it was the
Yeah,
audience reaction was reversed. It was
yep.
just for my time, just interesting to see.
He was Canada's Hogan for that short run.
Yeah. And it's sad because it really was short too, and that was some of
Yeah,
best work.
their feud with Stone Cold, I loved it. See the McMahon Stone Cold thing, yeah, it was funny. Like yeah, it was also to bring McMahon in as a character. But with the Hart Foundation, it was more serious. The beef seemed a lot more serious, and like the attacks every week, it seemed like a lot more serious than the
Yeah.
McMahon and Austin shit.
And Stone Cold, like the McMahon Austin feud, it's obviously legendary in its own right, but Steve Austin deserved to have like better opponents right off the bat for his title run. So his feud with Brett was really good because, like you mentioned, it's serious. Like
Yeah,
yeah, and he was at a disadvantage in that feud. Like I don't know if he
yep. It
ever
was him
beat Brett
versus four.
clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello, Moira. How you doing? Talking wrestling here.
Yeah, another one I think was really good, but I'm sorry, the BWO still pushes them out for my favorite. Is the Dudleys. I mean, the early Dudleys when you had
When
Yeah,
dances
like
with Dudleys, you
yeah,
you had a sign guy Dudley, Joel
Dudley,
Gertner,
Dudley. You
Yep.
had the very first Dudley boy, Dudley.
and you know what? And Big Dick made it believable the way he freaking went out
Yep.
there. That guy was a fucking beast.
Yeah, that guy was like sweating steroids every time he was on camera. Yeah, that guy was fucking scary looking. But yeah, I guess we'll start with the creating the shitty stables since see I all right before that though I would say see I the two that I would say that you would have your eyes glued to the TV was the 80s era Four Horsemen and the NWO.
Yep.
That- Even those NWO segments where all of them, every single one of them would come out to the ring. At that moment, you still want to, even though like some people were at that point like, oh, I'm so fucking sick of the talking. Let's get to wrestling. It was at least cool and funny because they were funny as hell. I'm sorry. The shit they
Yeah.
used to do and say, it had me in fucking stitches.
Well, there's one other thing about a lot of those stables. There were so many different stables out there that had really good elements to it, but overall, I think they failed. And one of course, I got a tattoo on my arm for the Undertaker's old cross from the Ministry of Darkness.
Yeah,
I love the idea of the Ministry of Darkness. I love the idea of the Undertaker like that. And there was a few key characters that were in the Ministry I thought were cool. Of course, the APA. But a lot of those other people that they brought into it, I really felt diluted the whole ministry down, and it didn't work as well with a lot of those other players.
Would you say that was the Brood? Would you say that?
You know what?
I think they fit with them, especially the way with that vampire
to
thing.
a degree, yes. But I think some of the other ones, like when they brought in
Midian.
Viscera and Midian,
Naked Midian,
they just felt like they were watering it down. And you know what? And Christian, as good as he is as a tag team with Edge, I really didn't feel that he fit in with the ministry.
Yeah.
I mean, Edge, you can believe. Gangrel, you can believe. Christian, nah, not so much.
Well, the way they made Midian, the way not Midian, the way they turned Mabel into Viscera, I would say that was like holy shit. That was a good career revival for him. I think.
That was after he'd injured the Undertaker and they'd fired him.
Yeah, he broke his fucking face.
Yeah.
I was fine with the ministry as is until they merged it with the corporation.
The corporate ministry ruined it. It ruined the whole thing.
Yeah.
It ruined both the corporation and the ministry.
Yeah.
That was the NWO Black and White and Wolfpack coming together.
I thought it was so stupid that Undertaker literally tried to murder Big Boss Man in that Hell in a Cell by hanging him, and then like 2 weeks later, he's cool with no problem at all, bro. Let's merge stables.
Even worse than that, he took the boss's daughter and put her up on a cross.
Yeah.
Yep. We're talking about stables, and one that doesn't get nearly enough love, and I'm actually going to be working over probably the next week on a video about this, is the Natural Born Thrillers in WCW.
Yeah, because they had some good fucking young talent with those guys.
Oh, dude.
But then again, you also had shitty Mike Sanders
awesome on the microphone. On the microphone.
Not in the ring.
Chuck Palumbo. Sean Stasiak, Sean O'Hare,
Mark Jindrak,
Johnny the Bull, Big Vito.
Yeah,
Reno.
Johnny the Bull was awesome. That dude was fucking good.
I love the Mamalukes. I fucking love them. Johnny the Bull and Vito, they had that storyline with Disco Ryota Money. You had, what was the other guy that was in there? Tony Marinara. Tony Marinara.
Who became Tony Mamaluke.
Yep, Tony Mamaluke. But yeah, I love the Thrillers. I'm working on a big fucking video about that. I'm probably gonna have to do 2 versions, one for YouTube and then one for Patreon, where I can show more footage and stuff like that. But yeah,
see, the thing with Sean Stasiak, dude looked good as a wrestler. I don't know. I didn't think he was all that great in the ring. Like, he was Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare were a million times better than that guy, and they all basically were built the same. You know.
Yep. Yeah, there was really but that was the thing, when you had Palumbo and Stasiak together as a tag team, they were far better off with the perfect event.
Yeah,
because it was like
when one ripped off Mr. Perfect and one ripped off Lex Luger. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and it worked. It because that's when it was the New Blood and the Millionaires Club.
Yeah,
and I did. That was a god awful angle
bullshit where they vacated every single title on the same night.
Yep, the reset. That was a god awful thing, but no, I love the Thrillers. I'm gonna do some. I've got them all on.
That's a good low key underrated stable. I would agree.
Absolutely, man. There was so much talent potential there.
And then wasn't Nash hanging out with them for a bit on camera?
Yeah, but then they ended up beating Nash and Page. It was, I think, Palumbo and O'Hare beat Nash and Page, the Insiders, for the tag titles at one point.
See, Chuck Palumbo's one of those guys that I thought was all right, but I like looking at today's standards. I'm like, yeah, I think we could use more Chuck Palumbos these days,
dude. Yeah, if you take those guys now, Palumbo, O'Hare, Stasiak, and Jindrak, they're stars, right? Even
and he
They're
ruined
fucking
that.
stars.
They basically ruined him when they put him in a gay tag team with Billy Gunn. That was
Oh my god!
imagine that.
horrendous.
Imagine that stable, if you will, ETEP, with Matt Morgan added to it.
Yeah, Matt
The
Morgan.
blueprint.
I have an action figure of Matt Morgan. I just got like a couple weeks ago.
Which Slasher showed me. He says, "Hey, guess who this is?" And I looked at it for a second. I'm like, that's Matt Morgan. I didn't even know they made a Matt Morgan figure.
But I got to ask you guys this, though. Would you say one of the worst stables? I mean, this is just me speaking. And I think these guys are worse than the Job Squad. NXT. I thought that stable was just horrible.
Oh,
The
do you mean the Nexus?
The Nexus.
Yeah,
right?
the Nexus from
Yep,
the
the
NXT
Nexus.
stuff. Yeah, I thought that was horrible.
Well, I gotta say that whole thing after it unfolded, it pissed me off and it made me not want to watch anymore because
Yeah.
of what they did to. Because I was a big Bryan Danielson fan watching Ring of Honor, and they fucking gave him the shaft with that whole fucking. They fired him after the first night they debuted.
Yeah.
They fired him after the first night
Because he choked Justin
out.
Roberts,
Yeah, because
right?
he choked the announcer with this tie, and they and he spit in Cena's face, and they like. There was some bull. I think it was around the time where Linda was running for office too, so I think that's why they did that shit. So like I was like, oh, I'm all about this because of the way they debuted. I was just watching a Wrestling Bios video, and he was talking about that he was talking about all the debuts, and yes, that Nexus debut was fucking awesome. And
Yeah.
and then they were
They
just
ripped the
fed
ring up, right?
And yep, they beat the fuck out of Cena and CM Punk, and and then just making a stable of jobbers for John Cena to fucking rip through every week.
Awful.
And
It
it's a
was
shame 'cause
awful.
they had a bunch of really cool guys. I mean, that was back when he was still Husky Harris, but I mean, Bray Wyatt eventually. But I mean, shit.
Ryback too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Skip
what's his name?
Sheffield.
Why am I blank on his name? The Brit.
Oh, Wade Barrett. Wade Barrett was
Barrett.
the leader. Yeah, he was. The leader.
I'm afraid I've got some bad
news.
news. Dude, I liked Wade Barrett. I wasn't really watching consistently at that point. Like I was in the
I
wrestling
wasn't when he
business,
was bad
but
news. I wasn't watching consistently either.
I wasn't watching. We would be in the locker room and some, the boys be, hey, did you see? Nope. I watched the old stuff. I can't like that 2012. Like I missed the pipe bomb. I saw it on replay on YouTube. I think
I was there in person.
Hello, no dad. How you doing?
But yeah, I wasn't watching it. I would hear about this stuff and then I'd go back and have to like look it up or whatever. But no, I'd watch like a pay-per-view here or there. I was watching more TNA at that point than I was WWE.
I remember there was a point where TNA had a better roster than WWE.
Oh, yeah, because they still had the WCW guys. They had some guys that were like homegrown TNA talent,
and then they had
ex-Fed guys. You had like Angle, Booker T, Steiner.
But then they would bring in indie guys and give them like full-time jobs, like freaking Homicide. Like Homicide, who like was mostly wrestling in the fucking indies, and now he's on TV every week. I thought that was awesome.
LAX Hernandez. I worked with him.
Well, he was I think he popped up in Lucha Underground for a little bit.
Yep, I remember because we talked about that in the locker room, but it was funny because like me and my tag partner James basically dressed at one point like LAX, like. Our gear had like a tribe. It was like black and white. We had the black and white team rating shirts, but we wore like the masks. We wore like bandanas over our face. And then we wore like I wore a bandana on my head. We wore Lokes. And I remember we were in the back getting dressed and Hernandez comes in. He sits down about 10 feet from me and he's over kind of in his spot in the locker room. And he's looking at us. And I'm like, I look at James and I'm like, you want me to say it or do you want to? He goes, you do it. He goes, you do it. I'm like, all right. So I go over, I'm like, hey, and I introduced myself, shook his hand, because I didn't get to talk to him when he came in because we were running late because we were hungover and still drunk from the night before. And I'm like, our gimmicks look very similar, and you're obviously on television. Would you like me to not wear something tonight?" He looks at me, he goes, "No, homie, you're good." He goes, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Okay." Like, no heat or nothing, and then we kind of talked and shit. But yeah, he was super cool about it. I was kind of nervous. He's not that tall, like he's maybe 6 foot, but
Yeah,
he's
he looks
fucking
wider than he looks tall. Yeah.
he is as wide as my desk.
Well,
I
also
mean,
compared to Homicide, he's gonna look like a fucking like the
and
Jolly Green Giant because
the
Homicide's a pretty short dude.
the dude is like this, like his body, like from back to chest is like that thick. I mean, he's a big fucking man. Like this was 7 years ago, but I mean, his arms were, I mean, he was just a big fucking dude. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I wondered why the Fed never picked him up.
The Mexican Superman, I think that was his nickname. Wasn't it
Yeah,
Mexican Superman? Yeah.
that was it.
Yep.
Do you guys remember the Union?
That
Yeah.
was a really really shitty stable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a shitty stable with good wrestlers.
Yeah. Well, it was
Shamrock,
only
Big
around for like 2 weeks or a month, right?
Yeah, not very long.
Yeah,
I don't
because
think
Vince
Shamrock
Murdoch.
was. I don't think Shamrock was there much longer after that.
Jeez, he's another.
Oh,
Exactly. They dropped the ball with Shamrock.
Yes.
They could this was around the time they were hot potatoing that belt. You
uh-huh.
could mean to tell me Shamrock couldn't have like a 2 month or at least 1 month fucking reign with the belt?
Dude, Shamrock versus Kurt Angle.
That would have been fucking yeah. That would have been. It would have been almost a mirror match.
Shamrock took to professional wrestling. I mean, and that dude was intense as fuck in the ring. Like,
he was a professional wrestler before he was
Yeah.
a mixed martial artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he just didn't before
a
he was a
jobber.
professional.
He had some jobber matches on like Saturday mornings and shit.
Yeah, he was fucking great. Like I really like one of the most, I think, underrated guys from the Attitude Era. Honestly, that I think people sleep on him. Like
Yeah.
when you talk about the Attitude Era, you always hear The Rock, Austin, Mankind,
Undertaker,
Triple H,
Kane,
Undertaker,
Foley,
Kane, Foley. You never hear anybody mention Ken Shamrock up there. That
No, but
motherfucker
he
was feuding for the IC title with The Rock.
His
who
feud
would
with
go
The
on to be
Rock
world
was
champion.
awesome too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
His
they
feud
just
with Owen. I'm sorry.
they never booked him right, and it sucks because he not only was he good at wrestling, but he had his own unique style. Like even up, against Kurt Angle, Kurt had one style, but Shamrock kind of had that unique style of his own, and just that's something you don't see in the modern product. There's no variety, there's no spice.
No, it's when 900 guys throw super kicks, it kind of takes away the fucking what's supposed to be a special move,
Super kick. Everybody does a fucking Canadian Destroyer. Canadian Destroyer. Spear. It's fucking. Everybody's got to do an apron spot. Every match has to have somebody's
what's up
shoulder.
with that these past couple years? Everyone does the apron spot.
And
they always have the hardest part of the ring. Yeah, we know because you said this last week. Everybody's doing the apron spots now. That was something that you barely saw back in the day.
Yeah. No, that, like I said, the shoulder to the ring post now. I counted, it was it SummerSlam? 5 out of 7 matches had shoulder to corner post spots. They like as somebody said in the comments on one of the videos I was watching, they should have called it shoulder slam. Am I right? Yeah, it was. It's just stop. You don't need to do 2 Canadian Destroyers in the opening match of the card. Then a moonsault.
You gotta stop doing that. If you're doing a Canadian Destroyer, let's end the match there because that's a finishing move, dude.
Yeah, that's not a setup. Like the DDT used to be a finisher.
Yeah,
it was protected. That's the problem. They don't protect finishers anymore,
and
nobody's finisher's protected.
But then you see fucking Kevin Owens' finisher is the stunner now. Couldn't you give him a different move? You couldn't give him a different move,
right?
Like at least
Hey, Kevin.
like you know what he should be doing the TKO. That's what he should be doing.
Yeah.
That should
Yeah.
be his move.
I almost used that, but I wanted to. I had to have my Scott Hall shit. You know
That
what I
was my
mean?
finisher when I was a backyard wrestler. The
Was the
TKO.
TKO? That's
Yeah.
a nice move.
I called it the drunk driver.
I like it.
My wrestling character was the drunken madman. It was basically a ripoff of like I threw a bunch of ECW guys together and ripped them all off and threw it into one character. It was like part Raven, part Sandman, and then I used to do like I would put the garbage can on my friend's head, like have him like covered with the garbage can, and then I'd do the gore. So I was kind of ripping off Rhino with that one.
Nice.
Well, at least you
Yeah.
didn't say Sabu. You would have got E-Tip triggered.
It went off. Like I said, the one
That's
guy
a shame to hear about Sabu being an asshole because that dude is one of my favorites.
Dude, like I said, they say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I loved him in ECW as a teenager. You know what I mean? Like I was still popping for him when he showed up in the Fed. You know, I was at Mania 23, ECW Originals versus the New Breed. That match was like Sandman. I hung out with Sandman after that. He's another one. I'm just like, but we were in the bar in Kalkaska sitting there after the Chainsaw production show. And he's talking about, yeah, I made fucking, what was it? 80 grand for the video game. And then it was like 100,000 for Mania. He goes, and I had to work like 5 fucking minutes. And he doesn't ever drink beer when he's not in character. Like when he's not in gimmick. Long Island iced teas with an extra shot of peach schnapps, I found out was his drink. And he smoked his Marlboro Reds until they were like that big. I swear to God.
I almost gave myself alcohol poisoning drinking Long Island iced teas.
Been there.
I woke up with a broken blood vessel in my eye and a fever.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I would have a Long Island iced tea, a beer, then have a water, then I would repeat. Then Long Island iced tea, beer, water, repeat. I was doing that all night at the bar one night, and I paid the price for it the next day.
Yeah, mine was my 21st birthday. It was that was not a
Long Island iced teas will fuck you up.
Yes, they will, especially when you're sell them by the pitcher.
I was gonna say you're not having fun unless you're doing shots of 190 proof Everclear.
I don't think I ever had Everclear.
I have some moonshine upstairs that if I put it in a race car, it would be able to start it up. I've got a 10-year-old mason jar full of moonshine. One of my drivers made in a shed when I was working for Chrysler. One of our transit drivers, he goes, "You like moonshine?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Here." Brings me in a fucking one of those big mason jars full. And 10 years ago when I got this shit, it almost knocked me on my ass. I took a little sip of it. I opened it up the other day. We were having a party. One of my buddies, I'm like, "Here, take a hit of this." I opened up. He goes, "Jesus Christ, that's paint thinner." I was like, "I just keep it for a prop. No, I ain't drinking that shit." Probably go blind. Isn't that what they say with bad moonshine? You go blind.
I don't know. I never fucked a moonshine either. Moonshine.
Yeah, I've had really good moonshine that tastes like root beer. It tastes just like root beer.
I've had too many bad experiences with hard stuff. Too many bad experiences. And I've been around too many bad experiences too. Like I could only fucking see cops fucking standing around one of my friends covered in blood for so many times.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the hard stuff. Next thing you know, you're paying somebody to take a number 2 on their head. It's not good.
I don't know. At that point, you don't want it to be soft. Okay, enough poop. Speaking of the real shit, we created some bad stables, didn't we?
Yeah. So it's already almost been an hour. We haven't fucking started yet. But Etep, you want to kick this off?
Oh, absolutely. Let me pull mine up here. Let's see. Here we go, right here. Now, mine is a veritable cornucopia of just badness. If you want to, there we go. There's mine right there. Yeah, we have first
The only one I recognize is Van Hammer. Holy fuck,
Our-
is he red?
our name is Look at the Lights. That's the stable name. Our leader
Bobby
is
Salsa.
yeah. We got our leader is Van Hammer, heavy metal Van Hammer. He's the king of the jobbers. That guy somehow was employed with WCW for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, from like 91 to the end,
Yes.
right?
Yep. I think he turned the light off at the last Nitro. Yeah, so Van
He
Hammer's our
was a
leader.
guy who got a bit of a career revival with the Flock.
Yeah.
When he was in the Flock, he got a bit of. That was the good thing about the Flock was they're like, hey, you're not doing nothing, right? You want to sit in the crowd with Raven every week?
It's like you got a wrestler with long hair. Let's put him in some ripped up jean shorts, cut the sleeves off the flannel, and yeah, you've got your stable. That's what Scotty Riggs, put an eye patch on.
So, all right, your name's about is it Pork Chop Cash?
Yeah, we've got
Dude
Pork
legit
Chop
looks
Cash.
like Chewbacca, bro.
Yeah, that's one. He was one of the extras in the Wookiee Star Wars movie. What was that? The Christmas special, the holiday special.
Yeah, he was the grandfather.
Yeah, that's the one that put on the VR headset.
Yep,
and was,
the one that was sitting at the
masturbating.
table. Yep.
Yeah, and we've got what's the other gentleman here is that his name's covered. It's Reno Riggins.
I remember Reno Riggins.
Yep.
Okay.
We got Reno Riggins. Then we have Bobby Salsa,
Salsa.
who got murdered by the fucking Road Warriors, and our man with the best porn stash, Mike Fever.
Okay, so like you know how sometimes stables will have a tag team as part of it, like how the Ministry had the Brood, right?
Yeah.
So I would nominate Bobby Salsa and Mike Fever to be the tag team of this group and call them Salsa Fever.
Well, we could have
unless you want to go pork chop fever.
Pork chops. I'd say pork chop fever. I'd put pork chop. I'd put pork chop and Mike Fever. Have him just call him pork chop fever. Then Bobby Salsa and Reno are my TV title, my like U.S. heavyweight contender, and then Van Hammer's my heavyweight.
So yeah, he would be the mouthpiece, right?
Yep, Van Hammer. I'm putting all the pressure in the world on Van Hammer to be the mouthpiece.
On the very roided out shoulders of Van Hammer.
Yeah. The one of the worst fucking in-ring performers I've ever seen.
Like Sammy Hagar on steroids. Holy shit.
Do you remember when Lance Archer and them did that Guitar Hero?
The Rock and Rave infection?
Yep. Jimmy Rave and Lance Archer.
I liked Jimmy Rave.
Yeah. This is like
he died last year, right?
Did he? Did he? I don't know.
He died recently.
Van Hammer could be their dad. Like if he was
Van
still
Hammer's
alive.
still with us, right?
Yep. Yeah, Van Hammer's still alive.
Amazing, because look at how much roids he was on. That's got to be like a picture from 90 or 91.
Yeah, that's very early. Look at the WCW main event thing. That's old.
How fucking red he is.
Yep.
Yeah, I gotta say you picked some top notch pictures.
Oh, I had to work to find these guys. I'm like, I need some fucking obscure ass like Pork Chop Cash. I didn't know who Pork Chop Cash was until today.
I heard the name, but I never saw a face.
No, that guy straight up. I'm gonna cut his face off and put it on a Wookiee.
He's one of those guys. I always heard the old school like when you're watching shoot interviews and shit, I always hear his name brought up.
Yep. I've heard his name. I didn't know who the fuck he was though.
Oh, now I know he's a Wookiee.
He also could be he could be Grizzlor from He-Man.
This is a good one. I'll say this is a damn good one.
There you go, man. There you go. That's the look at the lights stable.
Yeah, Reno Riggins will be like the Tully Blanchard of this group.
Who's your
God
Tully
damn it.
Blanchard? It's Reno Riggins.
I just came back from walking my dogs and I have pork chop cash in mind.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
gonna create. I've already got Van Hammer created on No Mercy, but I'm gonna because I did the flock, so I'm gonna have to create the other 4, and I'm gonna have this fucking stable on No Mercy.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah. All right. That's I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to top. I don't think my stable's gonna be able to top that, but
They even made a graphic.
well, all right, Tommy.
All right. Here you go. Some of the my least favorite gimmicks, and put them all into one. So the leader of this group is going to be the Gladiator. I absolutely couldn't stand that gimmick. I like Ron Simmons. I hated that gimmick. I couldn't stand it whatsoever.
The original Farouk, right?
Yeah, with that freaking blue, stupid padded helmet and shoulder pads and everything.
Farouk
Oh,
Assad. He had a last name, Assad.
But
No
I
relation
hated
to Bashir Assad.
I hated that. I didn't know we were doing show and tell with pictures. God damn it, E-Tip.
No, you don't have to. You could if you want.
I couldn't.
Also, ETEP, you have room to add. Well, sorry, before you go, Tommy, you got room to add one more because you could. It was 5 members and 1 leader, so you could throw someone else in there too.
I'll do that while Tommy's going. I'll add somebody to the. We'll have a new member.
I got you.
Hang on, we'll add a new member.
But so is Farouk Assad going to be the leader?
As the Gladiator, though, he has to be the Gladiator because that was just butt awful. That was a terrible gimmick. So his partners in crime in the bottom ropers is going to be the missing link, Bastion Booger, Mantar, and I hate these 2 gimmicks too: Rocky Maivia and Brutus the Barber Beefcake. I'm sorry.
No. Brutus was in the Dungeon of Doom. You got to pick someone else.
Yep. No,
he wasn't Brutus the Barber in the Dungeon of Doom.
No, he was still in the Dungeon of Doom though.
Really?
Yeah. So not like Big Boss Man, Vader, Luger, anyone who was in the Dungeon of Doom.
No, I didn't remember him being in the Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah, he was. He was the Zodiac.
Huh.
Yep.
Remember, he was painted up like a zebra.
I really don't remember that. I don't know why I don't remember that.
Probably because he was fucking going through gimmicks like a pack of rolling papers.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't want to replace Brutus with anybody?
Nah.
All right. So I guess the no Dungeon of Doom thing is out the window then. you got a name for these guys?
Yeah, I said the bottom ropers.
Oh, the bottom ropers. When you said that, I thought you were referring to the guys that had to be loyal to Farouk Assad.
I'm just saying, what a tag team the missing link and Bastion Booger could make.
Oh,
That's
I would say
just frightening to even think about.
I would say Mantor and Bastion Booger because they're 2 big fat guys.
Yeah, that would be just as scary.
They're almost the same person.
I figure Rocky Maivia could head up their women's division.
Have we ever seen Bastion Booger and Mantar together?
But it's got to be him and that the Rock in that horrible feather gimmick, right?
Yep. That original Rocky Maivia look. Oh God, that was so butt awful.
That big dopey smile.
And that almost like afro freaking haircut he had going on with it too. It's just horrible.
Well, motherfucker looked like Kid and Play.
that picture of him with the fucking fanny. He's the fanny pack and he's got that tight ass turtleneck.
Yep. And he have Zubaz pants on.
Here he is, Farouk Assad. Damn. Oh my God! Like, what were they thinking with that stupid fucking headgear?
I'm telling you, it was so horrible.
He's the gladiator of tomorrow. What was it? Just because he was fucking sunny?
He's the gladiator of tomorrow, today.
Yeah, whatever
glad-
people want to say about Vince Russo, this was what was going on before Russo stepped
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Yep.
this was. I mean, I don't have very positive things to say about Russo, but
You know,
how you
with-
take Ron Simmons and like, yeah,
yeah.
He was the NWA world champion, for God's sakes.
Okay, here I'll add one more. How about Kurgan?
oh god,
Everybody come see the greatest show. Gather up all juggalos and roll. Everybody come see the greatest show.
all right, well, now we're gonna look at Mantor. See, other than that fucking stupid fucking headpiece, he didn't have a bad look.
No.
Just the fucking buffalo head on him made him look really stupid.
Yeah, I was just like, do we really need to do that? Do we though?
And
Do
at
we
least-
need that?
And he wasn't doing gross shit like Bastion Booger was either.
Yeah.
Like Bastion Booger was just disturbing to fucking watch.
His outfit on him was disturbing to see.
Oh god. Did you see what he was before Bastion Booger, Tommy? In WCW, he was Norman the Lunatic.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember Norman the Lunatic. I remember seeing him on when he first came out on like pay-per-view in a match. Like at the beginning, like Jim Ross was with WCW back then.
And here he is. Fucking Bastion Booger. He would eat kids' food, like he would take the ice cream from the kids on the way to the ring.
And those goddamn tights were always pulled all the way up too. Like all the way up.
Good God. Good God, was this guy fat?
He had a fupa.
You could see his gunt.
His gunt.
So wait, who? Kurgan? Kurgan was the other member of this group.
Yeah.
Did you see Kurgan before he started wearing the tie-dye shirts?
He was what the fuck
The
was
interrogator.
he? In the Truth
The
Commission,
Truth Commission, yeah. But then he was managed by the Jackal, by that guy, the Jackal.
which is Don Callis.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah, this guy was built weird, man. Look at his fucking neck.
He didn't have a neck. He has a head and shoulders.
Jesus. Yeah, there he is with the Jackal. And here he is with the oddities. Yeah, this dude was as big, like bigger than him actually, right? Giant Silva, I think he was.
Yeah.
I still say that the missing link probably had the weirdest look out of all of them.
You know what? I like not that he was a great wrestler, but I liked his gimmick. Because he was one of like the mentally deficient wrestlers that they, like a George the Animal Steel type.
Who was a school teacher from Michigan?
But Link was?
George the Animal Steel.
Oh,
Yep, he was from near Jackson, Michigan.
plus this guy, he doesn't really, I've seen him way more juiced up than the missing link.
Yeah.
They should have made a figure of him back in the day. He would have jumped off the shelves, man. He didn't last very long there.
And I think he made maybe a year or so, tops.
At most a year. Because then I remember, I think he was in the UWF after that.
The UWF.
So, Tony, you got a crew ready?
Yeah. So we've got as the members Norman Smiley, and then Pork Chop Cash, Special Delivery Jones,
SD.
Ice Train,
Or is this gonna be the new Nation of Domination right here?
Hard Body Harrison,
Oh my God, I almost picked him.
and then the leader Cody Rhodes.
It's in his
It's-
heart.
It's the
It's in his
Negro
soul.
icons.
It'll be the new age Nation of Domination.
Yes.
You know what? Ice Train wasn't bad.
I liked Ice Train, like him
Ice-
and Scott Norton.
Yep.
I never knew they were a tag team until recently.
Yeah, they really botched that one.
Yeah.
Ice Train was basically the black version of Scott Norton.
Yeah, that's it. It was
Yeah.
like Ebony and Ivory.
He was built just like him. They did the same fucking moves.
Fuck,
Yep.
Scott Norton was another one. Like, imagine any of these modern day wrestlers in the ring
Scott
with
Horton would
Scott
rip them in
Norton.
half, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that shit wouldn't even be cute.
Fucking Ice Train too. Like, damn.
Plus, I like the name Ice Train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Ice
didn't know.
Train. He
I
had
never knew.
intense.
I never saw that Teddy Long was his manager.
Yeah.
I always saw him come out by himself. He was one of those guys. I see this as Nitro here. I remember he was a lot on WCW Saturday Night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fit Finley too.
Fucking Hugh Morris,
Yeah.
Yep.
Jerry Flynn. Does anyone
Thunderfoot.
remember Jerry Flynn? Not Jerry
Bro.
Lynn, but
Yeah,
Flynn.
Jerry Flynn. Thunderfoot Jerry Flynn. I've got
He-
him created on No Mercy too.
He looked like just some random dude who you would see getting the shit kicked out of him by Van Damme,
Yep.
like in Kickboxer or something.
Yeah. All right, we've added our new member.
Yeah, man, I miss these days. Like, even the jobbers were more believable than like what main eventers are today.
Exactly. Maybe that's why Hugh Morris was bullying all those fucking NXT guys.
He should have. They needed to be bullied.
Yeah. You know how dumb it is that Cody Rhodes is out there trying to give away a title shot? Like, and this is what I was talking about going into WrestleMania, when everyone on the title should be gunning for, or everyone on the roster should be gunning for that title. You know, like Stone Cold said, if you're not in the business to be the best, then you shouldn't be here. But
Yeah.
it's like they all rallied behind Cody, which is weird.
I still don't get the appeal of that guy.
Yeah, and
Never
and
have,
now
never will. There was a
months
time
down
where
the
I
road,
didn't mind him, but now it's just
well, it's like months down the road, he's trying to give away a title shot, and he's asking Kevin Owens to take it, and Owens is saying, "No, Cody, I'm not worthy." Like, that's stupid. Like that title should mean everything, and it's like it's a complacent roster, which, I mean, I don't know. It just it flies in the face of what wrestling's about.
So
Yeah.
he needs to enlist a bunch of black guys and make this stable. And you'll be
Yes.
watching every week, right, Tony?
Yeah.
You mean other black guys, much like himself, because he's the
Yes.
Negro icon. He's the king of. He's Wakanda's leader.
He has to intimidate other talent on the roster to challenge him for his title. That's where we're at.
You know, I'm actually kind of surprised nobody picked Oz.
Oh,
Hell
Nash,
yeah.
Nash.
Yeah.
Oz? Wait, did you got your fifth member up here?
Yeah, we got Don Driggers.
Oh my god! I thought that was one of the Guerreros for a second.
Nobody picked Tony Garea tonight either.
Oh,
but yeah,
Tom, Tommy likes Tony Garea as much as you like Sabu.
But yeah, this is our look at the light stable here. We added Don Driggers to the
Untriggered.
I accidentally covered Mike Fever's name. I had to move Bobby Salsa up a little bit. Roberto Salsa.
Hey,
But
can we
yeah,
get a shout out to Brooklyn Brawler? Because I'm sure we all thought of that name, but we're all like, nah, you can't put
It's too
him.
easy, right? It's too
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, you know what though? I never hated his gimmick.
no.
I can't say I ever hated it. I thought he was in there. Same thing with Mike Sharp. Like the guy didn't do a whole lot
Yep.
in the ring. But
Yo,
he was
I loved
entertaining.
Iron Mike Sharp.
Iron Mike Sharp. That you're talking about Jobber to the Stars.
That guy's screaming his head off every single match. Canada's greatest athlete.
There's a cornucopia that you could have choose from any one of freaking Hillbilly Jim's cousins that came in off the farm. Duke the
Oklahoma.
Dumpster Drosy.
I couldn't stand when they started bringing in more and more hillbillies. Oh, I hated that.
Oh god, yeah, it was bad. That was like oh, what the fuck was that with the hog farmers?
God, oh my God, like that was a period where they were at bottom of the barrel gimmicks.
Henry and Phineas Godwin.
I will still not get over even to this day seeing it like Duke the Dumpster Drosy, bro. I still can't get over that.
Phineas is the one that becomes Midian, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Do you remember in between though? In between them being the hog farmers and Midian being part of the ministry, they were Jeff Jarrett's goons. They were dressed up in suits.
Yep.
I think they were using their real names and they were
Justice.
called Southern Justice. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
That was another like you blink and it's gone, like from your television type gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like where did they go? And then Jarrett was paired with the Harris boys in the one variation of like the NWO.
Was this when they were Creative Control?
Creative Control,
Yeah.
Yep. And it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm a fan of the Harris boys. I always liked them for some reason.
I thought they were, they were a good big tag team, big man tag team in the ring.
It was crazy when they were in ECW. They had long ass fucking hair,
and they were in the Fed. They were the Blue Brothers. Why didn't you just keep calling them the Bruise Brothers? The Blue Brothers.
They were what the fuck? They were in DOA.
Yeah, it was them and Brian Lee, right?
Yep. Prime time Brian Lee.
I liked Brian Lee. I liked that guy.
Skull, 8-Ball, Chains.
That was a stable that went nowhere. They had so many stables at that time that went nowhere.
That was the gang. That was the gang wars.
Yeah, the gang wars.
The
only stable that was worth a damn was the Nation of Domination at that point.
It sure as fuck wasn't Los Barriquas.
No, definitely not.
That's as bad now as that what is it? Legado del Fantasma franchise. I always just, when I have to talk about them on SmackDown, it's Angel, Berto, Santos Escobar, and then they got some other Mexican chick with them. And I just call them El Gato No Es Bueno. So I can play that clip from American Dad.
I think I saw them the last time I watched SmackDown.
Yeah, they're boring.
It seems every time I turn on SmackDown and I give it its 5 minutes in court before I end up, I'm just going to go on the internet. Every time I do that, it's Andrade fighting one of those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, who the fuck is he feuding with now? It was it Santos Escobar? No. It was, what's the black dude's name? Was it not Carmelo? Was it Carmelo Hayes? He was just kind of feuding with him. And
I barely know anybody when I turn on Raw or SmackDown now. I'm like, who the fuck is this?
My kid is like, he's yelling and screaming, and he was all happy because Liv Morgan was beating the shit out of Rhea Ripley. He was watching Raw from last night after he got home from school today and shit. It was kind of funny because I didn't even get to watch it yet, and he was telling me what happened.
So, all right, I'll go with my stable now.
Yeah.
So
What do you got?
I'm gonna say the leader. I'm gonna give last, but I'll bring up the other guys first. My first member, right here, Roadblock.
See, that's a good one. He was on my, I had him written down on my list of potential guy. And I was like, this might be my big guy, but I went another direction. I went with Mike Fever.
And I just realized this. He looks like Darkside Phil. Oh my god.
Holy shit.
Look at his face, bro.
It is Dark Side Phil. It's like looking into the future.
If Darkside Phil had long flowing hair. This was one of those guys, yeah, a Saturday night special.
Yep.
And he would occasionally win matches on Saturday night.
Yeah.
I guess he would be the bruiser of my crew.
Dude, I know bitches in call centers who look like Roadblock.
Do they even have a goatee?
Yeah.
I thought for sure Tony was going to say he's seen bitches at the DNC convention that look like that.
Hey, Tommy, do you remember this guy, Roadblock?
Not really.
Occasionally, you'd see him getting his ass handed to him on Nitro.
He'd come out to face like Lex Luger or something.
Yeah. One of those clips I saw, I think it was Luger trying to get him up for the rack, and he couldn't do it at first. I think he dropped him on his head.
He's someone that I used to not, I couldn't stand Lex Luger, but when I was going back and rewatching Nitro for a stream that I was doing, like I gained a new appreciation for
He's
Lex.
also one of those hindsight guys that I go back, I'm like, and he really wasn't bad in the ring, man.
Yeah, no. and he had energy. Like the crowd loved him. They were behind him.
He wasn't like the Ultimate Warrior. He wasn't gassed after 3 moves.
Yeah. Yep.
Bowser.
My dog agrees, apparently.
So, I'll throw out my next member. You could agree or disagree if this is a good choice, but then again, we're all not picking like the best guys. Bob Sparky Plug.
Oh, fucking Sparky.
Thurman Sparkplug Holly.
Hey, you need everybody's fucking got a job. What are you? I'm a race car driver.
Yeah.
I liked Bob Holly though on like Tough Enough and stuff. Like, yeah, he's kind of a douche, but
oh no, he was 100% a douche.
Yeah, he's tough though. You know,
kicking
like
that dude's face in was on. I thought that was fucking uncalled for, man.
I mean, Arn Anderson stabbed Sid with scissors. Like,
I know, but that wasn't caught on camera and broadcast on national television.
Yeah.
Ever since then, I was like, this guy's a dickhead. And I didn't like that people were coming to his defense about it either. Like, fucking Spike Dudley, of all people, was coming to this guy's defense. Like, Spike Dudley, you got your ass handed to you on a nightly basis in ECW by people 3 times the size of you.
Is there I'm looking for a video of that.
Of him kicking that dude's face in?
Yeah, because I vaguely remember that.
It was the first season. I'm pretty sure it was the first season.
Yeah.
The one that, I think, who was the winner of the first? It was John Morrison, right? I think he won the first season.
Was it Maven?
Oh, no, it was Maven. Maven was the winner
Maven.
of the first season. I think John Morrison and the dude who got his face kicked in, I think, Matt Capitelli. All right.
I go to search it and it automatically pops up Bob Holly Tough Enough incident.
So, yeah, and you got to have him in this gear if he's going to be in my stable. Right here. Giant
No,
motherfucking Gonzalez.
no, that was a horrible gimmick, but it makes it even worse that he was absolutely shit in the ring.
It's also probably the worst outfit you'll ever see a wrestler come to the ring with. We're gonna make you look like Bigfoot. Cool, cool. Yeah, we're gonna paint muscles on you. Cool, cool. He was like, see. Yeah, he was dog shit in the ring.
And it's not even just a Bigfoot; it's a shaved Bigfoot. I mean, essentially, you have the early stages of Brie Larson's career on display right there.
Yeah, terrible wrestler, and I never got like he couldn't talk, he couldn't wrestle. He's just here because he's big. I was kind of the same with that dude Kurgan. That dude wasn't a fucking good wrestler at all.
Very far from it. The one with the bad teeth, I thought was better than him. Oh, shit, what the hell was the name? Remember,
Isaac
he had
Yankem?
the feud. No, the
Dr.
one that
Isaac Yankem?
no, the one that had the feud going with was it Kane or who the hell was it? It was over one of the female wrestlers at one point. Like he kicked her in the stomach.
Are
and
you
she
talking?
lost
Oh,
her
that
teeth.
dude Snitsky.
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 Yes.
It
Oh
wasn't
my
my fault.
You could
Yep.
you could see what I remember when that dude would come to the ring and the camera would hit his back. All the fucking giant roid pimples on that dude's
Yep.
back. Oh, it was so fucking nasty.
Yeah, it was that was fucking bad.
So am I gonna? This is gonna be my fourth guy, right?
Yeah.
Here he is in all his glory. Lenny Lane.
Oh, Lenny Lane.
We'll leave out Lodi. Lodi was already in the flock, so we got to give Lenny Lane his moment in the sun. This guy, I never ever saw anything good in this guy.
No.
There were like guys around that time that were way better than him, and this guy seemed to get so much television time. Never understood that.
Yeah, he's a weird cat. Like,
have you met the dude before?
No, but one of my fellow workers, good friend of mine, was at a bar with him, and it was Lenny Lane who said, "I've ended up at the wrong end of a blowjob a couple times. Does that make me gay?" And they're like, at that point, they said, "Yeah, that's kind of exactly what that makes you." So yeah, that's my Lenny Lane story. Is just so you've had dick in your mouth. All right.
All right. So then I guess I picked the right guy to be the leader of this group. And not regular old Lanny Poffo is the leader. The genius is the leader.
I love it. Leapin' Lanny.
Oh, I actually liked him as Leapin' Lanny because when he was a jobber, he would give the other guys a good match, you know.
Uh-huh.
I remember my friend was telling me that his dad, when they would watch wrestling together, that his dad would sit there like, "Oh, this week he's gonna do it." But yeah, you gotta have this asshole version of Lanny Poffo as the leader. And I'm going to call them Douche University.
I'm making a new graphic for my...
You know what? We could even use more Lanny Poffos these days.
He was a
Lanny
good
Poffo. Lanny Poffo did flips and shit, but he was actually a bigger dude than, like, you know, it seemed on TV.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, if you dig back to some of those guys, like even Little Guido would probably wipe the floor with half the wrestlers that are in AEW right now.
Little Guido, I think, is actually a fucking I think before he was a pro wrestler, he was a amateur wrestler. I liked Little Guido.
Yeah. You could see it in his work that he knew how to actually like move, you know. Dude was he was he was a shooter. Like
And
he could
he
he
was
could
also
actually
one of
wrestle.
those guys. He's one of those guys like because there's the misconception of ECW that it was nothing but blood and guts.
Yep.
Even though ECW had a lot of fucking mat guys, like of course they could do the hardcore stuff from time to time, but they were mostly like ring technician dudes. You know, the Benoit's fuck. Even though I'm saying fuck Benoit for eternity, but still, like you had Benoit, Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. You had fucking Jerry Lynn, like guys who actually could wrestle. Lance Storm, you know.
Yep.
Like everyone seems to just think everybody in ECW was Balls Mahoney. But you know what? Even though Balls Mahoney could actually wrestle, Balls Mahoney didn't always have to do hardcore shit.
Yeah. Yeah, ball him, but him and Masato Tanaka's matches were fucking amazing.
Yeah, well, Tanaka was another one of those overlooked dudes.
Yep. Yep. He
I love
was.
that dude was a fucking maniac.
The shit he did, taking them unprotected chair shots to the head. I mean, him and Mike Awesome.
Oh, yeah, he would just put his head down and take every fucking bit of the fucking chair shots.
Yep. It's like, are you sure that's what you want to do?
He's still alive.
Oh, is he? I thought he was dead.
No, he's still alive. I
Oh
think
my
he
God.
might even still be wrestling. Last time I saw him, oh shit, I don't know, remember how long ago. It was probably a decade ago, but he was wrestling in New Japan, and motherfucker, like he slimmed down because he was like, you know, a little pudgy. He was like Diesel and pudgy at the same time, but he slimmed down, and he still had it. He still had it in the ring.
Jesus, dude.
But
if he can still go, good for him, you know.
Yeah. Also, good that he's not dead.
Yeah.
Wrestlers have the lifespan of a cat these days.
I was thinking more like a gerbil, and not one inside. Never mind.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this.
Yeah, man, this was fun. I've got I'm redoing my graphic here. We've got the new.
You should do a whole NWO version, but nothing but those types of guys.
This is the new NWO right here. Hang on. We'll have the just a minute here. I gotta get it finished. All right. I didn't have time to put the new lower thirds on it, but this should suffice. Hang on 1 second. There it is right there. All right. There we go. I put the tag team together. I'm gonna make a graphic for
Salsa Fever?
No, it's Pork Chop Fever. Yeah, Pork Chop Cash, baby. Let's see. Here we go. Right here. There it is. Right there. There's the
you
new
put
one.
the WCW logo behind it.
Yeah, I got WCW Saturday Night behind it. But yeah, yep. That's our stable, right? That's a formidable group right there. I mean, you show me a better team in AEW than Pork Chop Fever right now.
Now I want to look up some old Pork Chop Cash matches.
Tonight for Patreon, we'll be watching Pork Chop Cash matches.
Look at that fucking hair, dude.
I found another really good. Where's that picture of him? Hang on. There's another picture I found.
He really had that Al Sharpton hair going?
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Here, share.
It almost looks like a homeless guy wearing a really bad wig.
It's like one of those homeless guys that was it Opie and Anthony used to have on. Here, look at this picture of him. Look at Pork Chop.
He looks a little better there. He looks better with the skullet, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like Hardbody Harrison's dad.
Oh God,
Uh,
that guy. And when you fucking
yeah.
read about what that guy did, God damn.
Oh my God, what an evil motherfucker. Holy shit, dude.
But yeah, we'll go wrap this up. Thank you
Yeah,
guys
man.
again.
Yeah, brother.
I forgot to give outros on Saturday, so there
Yeah,
you go.
you can catch us tomorrow night. Probably about 8:30 because I have to take the boy to golf tomorrow night, so I'll be playing. We're gonna watch the Dallas Connection. It's Andy Sedaris night, Bullets, Bombs, and Babes. 8:35. We'll go 8:35 Eastern just to give me time to get home and clean up. But yeah, that's what we're doing tomorrow night. I'm gonna get a channel members video for you guys tomorrow, and we'll have some more. Like I said, we'll have some more Patreon. We'll have the full commentary will be available on Patreon on Thursday for Dallas Connection. Yeah, channel members, you get a video tomorrow. We'll probably do another public video, another short tomorrow. I'm going to be busy tomorrow is what I'm saying. So thank you, man. This was a freaking blast.
Yeah,
and
man.
on behalf of Look at the Lights, we thank you as we stare at the ceiling.
And Van Hammer is the greatest jobber to ever live.
I don't know how he lasted that long. Well, I do. It was Turner, but
God damn, I can't get over how red he is there. It's like the red Hulk combined with Sammy Hagar.
Literally the Red Rocker.
Thanks again, man.
Yeah,
yeah, I always love these old school wrestling talks. Hey, Tommy, you there?
Get off my damn lawn.
So, you gonna be around for the toy stream tomorrow, or no? You still recovering?
No, I'm still going to be out for a while. Probably at least another 2 weeks or so. I don't know. We'll see how things go.
I hope you feel better, and waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, I'll eventually get there. I'm not going to rush it this time because every other time I rushed getting back from the injury because I wanted to jump on with you guys, and all I did was hurt myself further. So I'm going to take the time to make sure I heal up right this time. So still going to be putting up some videos here and there as I get around to it. Thanks to CenturyLink, but thanks everybody that was watching and everybody that may watch in the future. Awesome, fun stream, and hope everybody has a good one.
Frankie coming in late. Yeah, we're just wrapping this up. Frankie, best jobber. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do a stream another time where we talk about who the best jobber is. It's probably going to be Iron Mike Sharp across the board. Well, it might be some Barry Horowitz is thrown in there too.
Pedro Morales ranks up there as well.
Pedro Morales is a former WWF champion, bro.
What about Sandy Beach?
Who?
Sandy Beach.
Oh, the one that Dr. Death broke his nose?
I think that was him. Yeah.
Oh, no, that was Sunny Beach. That was the guy.
Was it Sunny? It was Sunny Beach.
Sunny Beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you, Tommy. Like I said, hope you get well soon and come through for these toy streams again.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Tony, thanks for hanging out, brother. You got anything to let people know where you're gonna be this week? What you're doing?
Yeah, man. Just, number one, thank you for having me. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you'll just catch me around. I might pop up on a stream, Friday, Sunday, just whenever. So if we watch an Andy Sedaris movie or whatever. So yeah, I'll be around. You can follow me at Monotony on Twitter, and that is a 0 for the second O in monotony. So yeah, that's about it. Just is a blast, dude. Love talking old school wrestling with you guys.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I still don't know what movie I'm gonna do. I think I might want to go with this movie called Kill Cruise on Saturday. If anyone wants to join me for that and have a discussion. But yeah, have a good night. Sherry, Tina, Moira, No Dad. Never seen that name before, but thank you. And Frankie, thank you guys. Have a great rest of the week.